The Marvel Cinematic Universe has quickly become the highest-grossing franchise in world history. It has ushered in an era of superhero obsession and fanatical fandom. But these movies are not entirely works of fiction. Modern-day inventors are working to bring superheroes' gadgets to life. Today we are exploring real-life superhero gadgets. Anyone familiar with the Marvel Cinematic Universe knows that Paul Rudd's character Ant-Man is able to commune with his namesake insect, ants. But it turns out this ant army is not as fantastical as it seems. Tech company Festo's bio-inspired bionic ants robots, which replicate the form and function of worker ants, are the company's latest entries into the Industry 4.0 movement and robotic revolution. They embody the main themes of swarm artificial intelligence, acting autonomously while communicating and collaborating with the other ants to devise a strategy to reach a final goal. Like the industrious insects, bionic ants can find and move objects that are bigger than their own bodies. Real ants do this by adhering to a strict caste system and communicating via pheromones, sound, and touch. Robotic ones do it with the help of stereo cameras on their heads to establish the location of nearby objects, chin grippers, optical sensors on their feet to read infrared lines on the floor, and a radio module for communication. Festo has made plenty of biologically inspired flying robots, including butterflies. Each one is autonomous, using independently controllable wings to steer itself and fly pre-programmed routes. While these ants cannot be used to fight supervillains, they still represent a pretty amazing invention. He might not work at Stark Industries, but that hasn't stopped real-life inventor and YouTuber Patrick Priebe from creating a piece of gear that looks like it could have come directly from the popular Iron Man movie franchise. Priebe recently created a real-life Iron Man glove. In a video demonstration, the 32-year-old Priebe, who is based in Germany, showed how a 3,000-megawatt blue laser embedded in a glove's palm could blow up balloons from across the room, burn wood, and sizzle an orange. Priebe says the entire project took him 3 weeks to complete, which is pretty quick considering how complex the gizmo is. According to Priebe, back in the day I was fascinated by lasers. It all started with the older Battlestar Galactica movies. In 2003 or so, I had some time to tinker a bit. I made some coil guns and lasers. Someone saw my first pulse laser gun on YouTube and asked for one. The white pulse laser gun got 1 million hits within the first month. Generally, I have crazy ideas, and it seems I have the skills to make it work. No idea how, actually. I never make real plans. I just tinker. Illusionist is a company that normally specializes in magic tricks and sleight of hand, but they have a new gadget on the market that breaks the mold for the average magician. The Pyro is a device that allows you to shoot fireballs from your wrist with ease. That's right, this machine gives you the power to shoot fire with the click of a button. So how does it work? The Pyro comes with 2 barrels that are filled with a special tissue paper used in many magical pyrotechnics that burns really fast. When the paper launches out of the lit barrels, it burns so quickly that all the naked eye really catches is the fireball. As the company notes, this is a doodad that shoots actual fire and is therefore potentially dangerous when not used in an appropriate manner. The appropriate manner here being sweet finishes to card tricks. It's meant to create neat flourishes for sleight of hand, not burning things. Anyone looking to play with fire just to play with fire should probably stick to camping. Of course, the Pyro should be handled with extreme caution. But whether you're an aspiring magician or simply want a cool new party trick, the Pyro is an essential addition to your arsenal. Kiratas is a rideable and user-operated mecha built by the Japanese company Suidobashi Heavy Industry. Billed as the world's first giant boarding robot, the Kiratas was unveiled when the website was opened in 2012. The vehicle weighs approximately 4,500 kilograms and is approximately 4 meters high. It can be crewed by one person. That operator would sit in the body of the robot in a seat with a control device in front of them. The Kiratas can also be controlled externally by remote control. Kiratas sports a 4-wheeled 30-joint exoskeleton, which is controlled by the pilot or can be controlled remotely. The remote operator uses a 3G touchscreen phone as the primary interface. The onboard pilot's user interface is a Kinect-based device. The vehicle can be armed with multiple weapons, such as a 6,000 round per minute twin BB rotary cannon, a LOHAS or launcher which either fires water bottles or possibly fireworks, and a powered humanoid hand called the Iron Crow. Richard Browning is a British inventor who has always dreamed of flying. So when he saw Tony Stark's levitating jetpack suit in the Iron Man movies, he decided to try his hand at designing one. This incredible invention was built by Browning using 3D printed parts, specialist electronics, and 5 jet engines. Once you've strapped it on and mastered the basics, you can soar at speeds of 32 miles per hour and ascend to altitudes of 12,000 feet. The only heat you feel is just standing there in a leather jacket on a warm summer's day. The heat strangely blows away. If you watch this as an audience member, you probably get exposed to more heat than I do as the pilot. It's actually surprisingly calm and not very violent. It's very passive and gentle when you're flying it, Browning told WILX. and Browning went on to set a world record in the suit. He achieved the fastest speed in a body-controlled jet engine-powered suit at 85.06 miles per hour. He more than doubled the previous record of 32.02 miles per hour, which he set 2 years ago. For anyone who has dreamed of taking to the skies in a hovercraft, a Russian tech company has recently made that dream a very real possibility. The Hoverbike Scorpion 3 is an extreme sports machine for those who are not afraid of height and speed. The layout of Scorpion 3 is like an ordinary motorcycle, but it can fly. As you might expect, the carbon fiber vehicle doesn't come cheap. For those wanting to purchase one of their own, your $10,000 deposit will be followed up with a $150,000 price tag. The plan to classify the Hoverbike as an ultralight vehicle resulted in some minor design tweaks to fulfill the legal requirements of the classification. But this final commercial iteration is still, at its core, the same crazy quadcopter hoverbike. The Scorpion 3 features similar physical drone designs. Essentially, it is a larger-than-usual drone capable of lifting actual people instead of small packages. It has 4 arms with powerful rotors at the end of each. It runs on a battery that requires recharging before each flight. Controls are on board, consisting of 2 joysticks for basic directional management. Aesthetically, the vehicle was inspired by the heavy-duty motorbike frames typically used in extreme games. The difference is that the Scorpion 3 has the ability to surf through the air by changing altitude and direction, its creators explain on their website. The sub-250-pound craft is designed to skim over the landscape at the company-specified safe altitude of about 16 feet and at speeds of up to 60 miles an hour. The Green Goblin is a popular character from the Spider-Man universe, who was famously played by Willem Dafoe in the early 2000s. He has a very distinctive form of transport, namely a flying platform that soars through the sky. Though it isn't identical, tech startup Kitty Hawk recently launched a vehicle that will surely advance the world of flying transport. The company, led by former Google self-driving car visionary Sebastian Thrun, has now flown its first aircraft, the one-person Flyer, more than 25,000 times. The tiny Kitty Hawk Flyer seats just one person in a central pod, flanked by 10 propellers. Powered by batteries, it can fly up to 10 feet off the ground at speeds of up to 20 miles per hour. Battery life is said to be 12 to 20 minutes, depending on speed and pilot weight. In the US, the Flyer falls under the FAA's rules for ultralight aircraft, meaning no pilot's license is needed, so long as it's flown over water or uncongested areas. Kitty Hawk says the Flyer is easy to fly, but recommends professional training. It's the kind of vehicle that anyone can learn to fly in 15 minutes, an employee says. The computer does all the hard work, so the human is just left to do the things that people are really good at. Look out the window, decide where you want to go, and just point the stick to where you want to go and land. Another entry into the world of flying cars is Lilium's electric flying vehicle. In a video provided by the Munich-based company, Lilium's unpiloted aircraft can be seen taking off vertically like a helicopter, hovering briefly and then landing. It may not seem like much, but it's a big step for the company, which hopes to launch a fully operational flying taxi service in multiple cities by 2025. Though Lilium says the gleaming 5-seat electric can fly 186 miles in an hour, its first flight, like most such tests, was modest. The Lilium Jet certainly stands out. It has an egg-shaped cabin perched on landing gear with a pair of parallel tilt-rotor wings. The wings are fitted with a total of 36 electric jet engines that tilt up for vertical takeoff and then shift forward for horizontal flight. There is no tail, rudder, propellers, or gearbox. When it's complete, the Lilium Jet will have a range of 300 kilometers and a top speed of 300 kilometers per hour, the company says. There have been hundreds of tests already that have happened since then, Gerber said in an interview. It already started becoming a bit like normality to see it fly, but we're super excited to show that to the world. It plans to eventually release a consumer-facing app that lets users hail the jet like they would a taxi on Uber. As for how much the rides will cost, the firm has said it plans to take New Yorkers from Manhattan to JFK Airport within 6 minutes for about $70.